I'm about to make somewhat of a shocking statement, okay? Of course, we all love Thanksgiving, one of my favorite holidays, actually, next to the 4th of July. We love it for the food. Yes, we love it for all the holiday stands for, thoughtfulness, thankfulness. But here's the shocker. Do you ever feel like the day itself, the actual holiday, is lacking? Just a little bit? Is it boring? Is it dull? This year, we want to help you prepare for an experience that stretches beyond just a 20-minute meal at the table. We're after family time that is memorable, meaningful, and most of all, not boring. So simply put, we want Thanksgiving to rock. Studio 5 parenting contributor Heather Johnson is joining me. You say a successful, satisfying Thanksgiving is possible, right?
Absolutely.
We can have a memorable experience, but it all starts with expectations.
It does. And so we're always so focused on what the activities are. It's not about the activities. It's about the expectations. We have expectations for what the day should look like, and so do our spouses, and so do our extended family members, and so do our kids. And when those expectations aren't met, that's when we start to feel that unease, when we're not sure what to do. And so instead of thinking, what are we going to do, think about, what does my family expect from this day? What are our expectations? And that's what we're going to look at. Expectations are hopes and beliefs. So when you think of it that way, we have this belief system, or what we believe will happen, and we have hopes for the day. And that's what we're talking about.
Can I throw you a scenario with this expectation tip in mind? Because at our Studio 5 staff meeting, this topic brought forward some really passionate responses from a lot of women, wives, and mothers around our staff table. The idea was, gosh, we slave over a stove, right, for 24 hours or more, and then the table conversation, the actual table time takes 20 minutes, and then the rest of the day is boring. So where do our expectations go wrong if that's our reflections on the holiday of Thanksgiving?
Sure. So we're going to change them. And the first thing we're going to do is we got to figure out what we expect. So dinner's over. What is it that we expect to have happen next, right? I know for me personally, our family is in a very busy time of life right now. I expect to relax. That's what I expect to do. Now, my husband's the same. Our kids aren't. They have Thanksgiving break. They expect to go and do and have fun and see and go to the movies and go to the park and go a million other places. So we have to first look at our own expectations. Now, when I look at my own expectations, they're usually coming from two places. They're usually either coming from memories or needs. And so we have expectations based on the memories we've created as kids, right? Those good experiences we've had. The other thing, our needs come into play. My need right now is to rest and relax. And so that's how I see the day. Now, that might be different for someone else. Once I can see where my expectations lie and I get a feel for that and I recognize what's real and what's not, then I'm going to look at our children and my husband, and I'm going to look at their expectations.
But can you realistically, Heather, meet everybody's expectations?
You can't meet everyone's, and there is this place where we have to meet our own, right? We have to be willing to make experiences good no matter what. But yes, if I've got 6 kids who all hope to go and do, then forcing them to sit for Thanksgiving break or Thanksgiving Day and never move is kind of uncool. Yeah. So I can keep that in mind. Now, does that mean that for my husband, though, that I need to have everybody racing all day long? No. We can hang out a little bit. We can have a slow morning and a little bit later Thanksgiving dinner, and then we can go to the park, or then we can find something to do. But it's recognizing what they are first, and we're going to do that by asking. I mean, do we ever ask our kids, hey, what do you hope to do on Thanksgiving? What do you want to do when we're done eating? Do we look at our spouse and say, hey, I expect some help with the dishes? And after that, what would you love to do on this day?
In advance, not in the moment.
Well, if that's all you've got, go for it. But in advance is always fantastic.
I don't know. Demanding dish help never seems to work for me on the spot. But if I prep the idea in advance, maybe I'll get there. This really speaks to individual family personalities. So really, there's no one box fits all.
There isn't. There's not a right or wrong. And we get caught up with that, right? We have expectations, and if we don't realize, sometimes they're coming from social media, they're coming from Instagram, they're coming from pressure around us, when really there isn't a right or wrong. There's just what's good for your family. If your family wants to sleep till 1, tape the Macy's Day Parade, and eat dinner at 8, do it. This is your Thanksgiving, so whatever those expectations look like, you don't need to worry. And after that, we've got to be adaptable, which is what you're talking about, that need to recognize that everyone is different. Yeah. But adaptability is key, and adaptability saves us, because let's say the expectation is a movie after dinner, but the movie's sold out. If we're focused on the expectation, which is that the day is full of doing instead of sitting, the movie doesn't matter because we can do something else.
Love
so
it.
do you see how we can still meet all the expectations, even if the activity is bunk or canceled?
All right, now that we understand the goal, Heather is going to share a little inspiration on the ground. Let's move over.
Sure.
Let's move over how families can really put these expectations, this not one size fits all, this more flexible Thanksgiving into action. We've got some family scenarios, and we're going to throw them at you.
Okay, I'm
Set
ready.
up this family, and then you can maybe punch home an idea how they could shape their day to meet their needs, their expectations, and still with that end goal in mind of having memorable, meaningful Thanksgiving holidays. We're starting with the family, gosh, familiar.
Gosh.
We know and love this family, the Johnsons.
They look so familiar.
You describe your family style as you just did. Kind of, you want to relax a little bit.
We do. We want to relax. And so you know what's perfect for us? We're going to start a generational family gratitude journal this year. So the way this is going to work is I have a very simple book, nothing fancy, nothing over the top, and we're all going to write something that we're grateful for. That's it. And then next year we're going to pull it out, and the next year we're going to pull it out. And in 100 years, I hope that there's 100 years of Thanksgiving gratitude inside.
I love that idea.
We're not going anywhere. We're staying home.
I love that idea. All right, next up, now we're dipping into family fiction just a little bit.
Yeah,
For the sake of example, this is the Peterson family. Say hello. They have married children with families of their own. Their motto is go, go, go. They like to pack in all of the fun that they can. If this model fits your family, well, how can we make it meaningful?
Go on a Thanksgiving scavenger hunt. Make it a photo scavenger hunt. It gets you out of the house. It gets you out into the neighborhood, gives you opportunities to see and do an adventure.
Okay.
It also keeps you together. So it's that simple. You're going to give yourself a list and a time limit. Take pictures. First person back, first team back wins.
It's togetherness. It's bonding.
It's everything you want about going. And the fact that you're on your own feet is just even better. It's all about that exploration.
I love it. Next up, the Joneses. We don't try to keep up with them, but for this sake, we'll study them. They have 2 young children. They want to spend time with family and friends, lots of family and friends. So this is a social family, Heather. What could a social family do to step up Thanksgiving?
It is. So they're going to have a pie party because at this point, especially with young kids, they need the social because it's missing. They are tied down with those little kids and the needs of them. So grab a bunch of friends, have everybody bring their favorite pie. While the adults get the social, the kids get their own social, and everybody's going to have that social experience because some of us need Thanksgiving to be social that way. And so it's going to build it in and even make it a competition. Best pie wins.
Hey, there we go. I like that. Finally, the Smiths. They have teenagers. They are looking for ways to make the day a little more meaningful. Any ideas for service-minded families like this one?
So that's one thing about Thanksgiving that we need to recognize. Oftentimes families want it to be service-related, gratitude-related. And so for a family like this, a great thing to do is take Thanksgiving dinner to the elderly. There are a number of people who either don't have family members or can't get out, don't have the money to do it. And so Meals on Wheels America, I love going there, mealsonwheelsamerica.org. Go there, you can click in the right-hand corner and it will tell you the needs. This family would be perfect, especially because teenagers tend to be a little self-centered. We're working them through that.
That was so politely stated.
So polite. And
a little self-centered?
They're a little focused on themselves. And so while we're trying to help them see how grateful we are for them and for our family, we want them to see that there is something bigger than them if you're in this family stage. And serving others, a great way to do it.
I love this. I love this approach. Identify your expectations, identify your family styles with a little bit of thoughtfulness. You can make that Thanksgiving holiday mean all the more.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Heather. We appreciate it.